GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Montreal. The old Olympic Stadium canvas is mostly shredded, with a slice saved for reuse, and the Mercier Bridge looks set for weekend jams as crews work on closures. Plus, nurse comedian John is headlining 2 shows at Just for Laughs. Over to you, Jeff.
Kafkonk Cabaret kicks off this Saturday at the Saint Laurent Cultural Center, presenting a night of acoustic folk and jazz performances by local artists.
Tickets are priced at $20 for adults, $15 for students, and free for children under 12, with seating available on a first-come, first-served basis.
The lineup includes singer-songwriter Elise Martin, violinist Duo Le Rhythm, and a surprise collaborative set featuring members of the Montreal Indie Collective.
Lots to get to this afternoon. CJ and I are ready, so let's begin with the stories that matter to Montrealers. Good morning, Montreal.
The iconic fabric that once draped the Olympic Stadium was dismantled today, and the majority of it was shredded on site. Workers removed the aging canvas, a relic of the 1976 Games, and fed it through industrial shredders. Only about 15% of the material was set aside, earmarked for future revitalization projects that will repurpose the fibers into community art or structural components. Officials said the decision follows years of corrosion and safety concerns, and the remaining portion will be stored pending design approvals. The canvas, installed in the late 1970s, had become a visual hallmark of the venue. Its removal signals the final step in a plan to address the structure's aging envelope. City engineers anticipate the reclaimed fibers could be woven into panels for a new public pavilion in the stadium's north courtyard, blending historic material with design as the stadium moves toward a new purpose.
Quebecers are packing up for the Laurentian Hills as the island's headcount shrinks. Provincial forecasts show the city will shed residents over the next 25 years, while the scenic mountain region braces for a surge of newcomers seeking larger homes, cheaper prices, and a closer touch of nature. Families and retirees alike are swapping downtown apartments for spacious cottages, driving a steady flow of relocation that planners say will reshape the Laurentians' housing market and stretch local services. Municipal leaders warn that roads, schools, and health facilities will need upgrades to match the influx. Meanwhile, the island's housing crunch pushes more buyers to look north, where land is still affordable and forests beckon. The shift also fuels hopes for a revitalized tourism sector in the region.
An ethics investigation has been opened into 16 officers from Station 39 of the Montreal Police Service following allegations that they made racist and hateful gestures while on duty in the Montreal Nord District. The probe, launched today, will examine the conduct complaints submitted by members of the public and internal sources. Police officials said the inquiry will be conducted under the service's internal oversight framework and will involve interviews, review of body camera footage, and examination of any related communications. The investigation remains ongoing, and the officers have been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome. The police service emphasized that the process aims to determine whether any breach of the code of conduct occurred and to ensure accountability within the force. Community leaders have called for transparency as the case proceeds, while the department assures the public that the investigation will be thorough and impartial.
Earlier today, the mayor of Westmount was cited by the Quebec Municipal Commission for 7 breaches of municipal ethics, after allegedly using disrespectful language toward municipal officials and staff. The citations, filed as part of an ongoing ethics investigation, allege that the mayor repeatedly addressed colleagues in a manner deemed demeaning and unprofessional. The commission's findings detail each of the 7 alleged violations, ranging from inappropriate remarks in council meetings to disparaging comments in internal communications. If upheld, the charges could lead to disciplinary measures, including possible fines or suspension from office. Westmount City Council has been notified and will convene to discuss next steps, while the mayor's office has not yet responded to requests for comment. The commission's mandate enforces the Municipal Ethics Code, which requires officials to treat staff with respect and prohibits abusive language. Violations can result in fines or suspension.
Internet star Nurse John is set to headline 2 comedy shows at the Just for Laughs Festival next Sunday, July 24, in the Salle Wilfrid Pelletier. The former emergency room nurse from the island rose to fame posting short sketches on social media, where his quick-witted take on hospital life earned him a massive online following. This weekend marks his first return to perform live in his hometown, sharing the stage with established comedians while bringing his trademark bedside humor to a larger audience. Organizers say the two-night engagement is expected to draw fans from across the province, eager to see the blend of medical anecdotes and punchy jokes that made him an internet sensation. Tickets are on sale now, and seats are filling quickly as the festival's summer schedule ramps up.
Coming up, we'll hear a moving family story about their daughter's leukemia fight, plus more headlines. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you're still with us. Let's dive into today's headlines, then Jeff Laflamme will take us through the local stories.
CF Montreal and Toronto FC left Saputo Stadium with the same number of points after a regular season showdown that ended in a stalemate. The match, played on a warm Friday evening, saw both sides exchange chances, but neither could find a decisive breakthrough. Montreal's forward line pressed early, creating a handful of shots, while Toronto responded with quick counters that tested the home goalkeeper. Fans in the stands experienced a tense back-and-forth rhythm, with the crowd's energy rising each time the ball threatened the net. In the end, the referee's whistle signaled a draw, adding 1 point to each club's league tally. The result keeps both teams in the middle of the table as the season progresses, meaning upcoming fixtures will remain crucial for playoff aspirations. Supporters, the draw means weekend travel to see the team chase a win, while businesses near the stadium enjoyed a stream of patrons' evening.
A family in Pincourt is opening up about their daughter's battle with leukemia, hoping to spark a wave of blood donations across the province. Earlier today, the parents posted a heartfelt video describing the relentless need for transfusions that keep their child alive. They explain that each treatment depends on a steady supply of donated blood, and shortages have left many patients waiting for life-saving units. By sharing the personal toll of chemo cycles and hospital stays, they aim to turn compassion into action, urging anyone who is eligible to roll up their sleeves. Health officials note that donor numbers have slipped in recent months, making every new contribution critical for children facing the disease. The family's message underscores how a single donor can make a tangible difference for families fighting leukemia.
9 Cuban canoeists who had just finished competing in a World Cup and the Pan American Championships in Montreal sought asylum after defecting on July 16. The athletes slipped away from the event venue and presented themselves to Canadian authorities, where they requested refugee protection. Officials confirmed the group was taken into custody, and the asylum applications are now under review. The defections come amid heightened scrutiny of Cuba's sports programs, which have faced criticism for restrictive travel policies. Canadian immigration officials said the process will follow standard procedures, and no immediate releases have been announced. The incident has drawn attention from the international canoeing community, as the athletes were slated to return to Cuba after the competition. Local fans expressed surprise at the sudden departure, noting the team's strong performance earlier in the week. Their status remains pending as authorities assess the claims.
Road crews will close sections of the Mercier Bridge this weekend, creating significant bottlenecks for commuters. Drivers can expect lane reductions on Saturday, the 17th, and again on Sunday, the 18th, as maintenance crews replace aging concrete and install new safety barriers. The closures will force traffic onto alternate routes such as the Viaduct and Champlain bridges, likely adding 15 to 20 minutes to typical travel times. Residents heading to work, school, or weekend errands are advised to allow extra time, consider carpooling, or explore public transit options across the greater Montreal area. Emergency services have confirmed that detour signage will be in place by early morning on Saturday, and police will monitor the flow to keep incidents to a minimum. The city's transportation department urges anyone with flexible schedules to adjust plans accordingly.
Health officials have issued a stark warning as fentanyl and its analog carfentanil drive a surge in overdose calls across Montreal. Urgency Santé paramedics have responded to more than 212 incidents since the start of 2026, and the tally continues to rise. Both substances are synthetic opioids with potency far exceeding traditional heroin, meaning a single dose can prove lethal. Local paramedic logs show the frequency of calls escalating week by week. Many victims are young adults, and the rapid onset of respiratory depression leaves little time for intervention, as each minute can determine survival. Officials stress the danger lies not only in illicit street supply but also in counterfeit prescription pills that may contain the hidden chemicals. The health authority urges anyone witnessing an overdose to seek immediate assistance, as each minute can determine survival.
Now let's check in with the weather team for your afternoon outlook across the island. A steady high-pressure ridge under a fast western jet stream locks in clear skies and warm temperatures.
On this date, Montreal reached a record high of 30.6 degrees Celsius in 2025, a spike that rode the tail end of an unprecedented heat wave across the province. The record low of 13.6 degrees Celsius was set in 2015 during a sudden Arctic air intrusion that caught the city off guard. By comparison, the climate normal for July sits around a high of 26 and a low of 15 degrees. Those benchmarks highlight how today's moderate warmth sits comfortably between the extremes. The live radar is completely clear across southern Quebec, with no reflectivity signatures moving into the Montreal basin. A weak surface trough sits far to the north, but the dominant high pressure keeps moisture out. With the jet stream racing overhead from the west, any disturbance would be sheared away before reaching us. In short, the sky remains dry and stable through the afternoon, allowing us to pivot to today's outlook. At noon, the thermometer reads 24 degrees under a cloudless dome, while the wind whispers west at 13 kilometers per hour. The high-pressure system sitting over eastern Canada is steady, and the fast western jet at 155 kilometers per hour acts like a ceiling, suppressing lift and keeping clouds at bay. As the sun climbs, temperatures will rise to a peak of 27 degrees by mid-afternoon, with the UV index holding at 7. Winds will modestly increase to 19 kilometers per hour from the west, feeling brisk but not gusty. By early evening, the sky will thicken, turning overcast as temperatures dip to 25 degrees. No weather alerts are in effect. Saturday brings a cooler ridge with a high of 22 and a low of 15 degrees, but the overcast sky and 60% chance of rain will keep the day damp. Sunday brightens as the high climbs to 23 while the low holds at 15, and the sky clears for mostly sunshine. Monday returns to cloud cover, 24 degrees at the peak and 15 at night, offering a mild but gray pattern. Tuesday sees the strongest moisture surge, high 22, low 19, and an 80% chance of light rain that will linger into the evening. Wednesday caps the stretch with a warm high of 26, low 20, overcast conditions, and a 60% rain probability. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Later we'll break down weekend traffic on the Mercier Bridge, preview tonight's Kafkonk Cabaret lineup, and check the Canadiens goaltenders. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
All major arteries are moving freely this morning. Autoroute 6, the Descaries Expressway, and the Champlain Bridge show no slowdowns. On the surface, Boulevard St. Laurent, Rue Sha Arbrook, and Rue St. Denis are clear, with travel times close to normal. No accidents or roadwork are reported on any of the primary routes. Transit runs on schedule, with the Metro Green and Orange lines operating without delay, and the commuter trains on the Vaudreuil line on time. Looking ahead, the afternoon rush will likely build around downtown, especially on Rue St. Catherine and the downtown tunnel as office workers return from lunch. Expect the usual increase in traffic on the eastern segment of Autoroute 15 near the Descaries interchange afternoon. Drivers should stay alert for the typical surge near the University District around 20 minutes after lunch. That's the current picture. The forecast calls for clear skies and mild temperatures, so weather will not interfere with travel.
First up, the Gala de la Francophonie lights up Théâtre Maisonneuve as part of the Just for Laughs festival, delivering sharp French-language comedy that will have the city laughing out loud. If you crave visual wonder, step into Cirque du Soleil's Echo exhibition at Time Out Market, a photo showcase that pulls back the curtain on the troupe's most secretive moments. Looking ahead, the Montreal International Dragon Boat Challenge kicks off tomorrow on the Olympic Basin at Parc Jean-Drapeau, where teams from around the world will race in a splash of speed and skill. Meanwhile, the Montreal International Jazz Festival continues to fill the streets with free performances, so you can catch world-class jazz wherever you wander. Whether you're in the mood for laughs, sport, or a soundtrack of the city, today's lineup gives Montreal something to celebrate. And now here's Jason with sports.
Summer heat meets hockey and soccer updates across Montreal's beloved teams. Mid-July sees the Canadiens still rostered with 3 netminders for the 2026-27 campaign, maintaining a 3-goalie rotation as the offseason quiets down. Management believes the young core's added experience positions the club among the league's likely improvers this year. CF Montreal and Toronto FC returned from the MLS hiatus to a tight defensive showdown, each side failing to find the net. The match concluded in a goalless draw, underscoring both clubs' early season solidity as they look to build momentum. The Canadians have secured forward Kirby Datch on a one-year contract valued at $3.6 million, sidestepping arbitration. The deal preserves salary cap flexibility while keeping a proven scorer in the lineup as the club prepares for the upcoming season.
The Downtown Montreal Business Association in Ville-Marie is sounding the alarm for our city's core. As the voice of hundreds of retailers and service providers, the group reports a sharp slowdown in foot traffic and sales, with vacancies climbing and consumer confidence slipping. They're urging the city to roll out transit upgrades and safety measures that could breathe life back into the streets we all walk. A revival would mean more jobs, bustling cafes, and a safer, more vibrant neighborhood for families and visitors alike. It would also support local artists, keep historic storefronts alive, and attract tourists who fuel our economy. That's why the association matters. It protects the downtown rhythm that defines Montreal's everyday spirit. And now a bright note. The Downtown Montreal Business Association urges action to revive our streets, a hopeful push for all.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local Sunset Montreal's evening newscast.
The Village des Nuits d'Afrique lights up Montreal's Quartier des Spectacles with vibrant concerts, hands-on workshops, and family-friendly activities that celebrate African culture. We go live to Carl Dumont at the Parterre and Esplanade Tranquille for a closer look. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks CJ Waterhouse. The festival runs from July 14 through 19, 2026, offering concerts, dance workshops, and activities for all ages. I'm standing on the stone of the Parterre du Quartier des Spectacles, where a kaleidoscope of flags flutters above a bustling crowd. The scent of spiced grilled meat mingles with the sweet aroma of fresh mangoes from a nearby market stall. Musicians and dashikis tune their drums, their rhythms echoing off glass canopy of Esplanade Tranquille. Children dart between workshops, laughing as they learn salsa steps and African drumming patterns. Vendors line the promenade offering jewelry and bowls of jollof rice, while cafes spill out onto the plaza, chairs filling with families and tourists alike. Every afternoon a new concert bursts onto the stage, a reggae band, a soukous troupe, a salsa orchestra, drawing applause that ripples through the street. The Village des Nuits d'Afrique transforms this downtown corner into a celebration of African, Caribbean, and Latin American cultures, showing music can turn a block into home. Carl Dumont virtually at Quartier des Spectacles.
In the heart of Outremont, just a few blocks from the bustling St. Laurent Boulevard, a quiet moment unfolded that reminds us why community matters. After a harrowing video surfaced of an anti-Semitic attack, two 20-year-old men were taken into custody by the Montreal Police Hate Crimes Unit, a team that has been working around the clock to protect every corner of our city. I walked past the modest bakery on Rue Bernard, where the owner, a third-generation baker, paused his morning dough to thank the officers for their swift response. He told me how his shop, a gathering place for neighbors of every faith, had become a symbol of solidarity when a group of young people gathered outside, holding candles and sharing stories of hope. The air was filled with the scent of fresh croissants, a simple reminder that everyday kindness can outweigh fear. Seeing the community come together, united by a shared belief that hatred has no place here, turns a painful chapter into a promise of resilience. It's moments like these that reaffirm why we look out for each other every day.
On a crisp Tuesday morning in the Plateau Mont-Royal, the doors of the Centre Communautaire du Myland opened to a line of residents clutching flyers about the latest health authority alert. The Montreal Health Authority has warned that 8 recent fatalities were linked to carfentanil, a synthetic opioid far more potent than heroin, and urged anyone who uses street drugs to adopt reduced-risk consumption methods. Inside, volunteers from the local harm reduction group set up a table of bright orange naloxone kits, each accompanied by a laminated card illustrating how to test a substance with a simple strip. One of those cards, torn at the corner by a teenager who had once survived an overdose, now hangs on the wall beside a mural of a sunrise over St. Laurent. Maya now helps hand out the kits, explaining how a single dose of naloxone can reverse a life-threatening episode in minutes. She says the alert has turned fear into action, and the community feels a renewed sense of responsibility. In the end, the alert reminded us that even in the darkest moments, a shared commitment can keep a neighborhood safe.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. Tonight's heartfelt story of a family sharing their daughter's leukemia battle reminded us why community matters. We appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you more news tomorrow at noon. Stay safe, stay informed, and see you then with a great cup of coffee.